Who were the Nephilim, and how did their mysterious legacy shape some of the Bible's most dramatic stories? Was Goliath simply a giant warrior, or was he part of something far greater, a remnant of an ancient and rebellious race? What do the battles between David and the giants teach us about faith, courage, and the spiritual struggles of humanity? In this exploration, we uncover the true story behind Goliath, his brothers, and the shadowy beings known as the Nephilim. Their tale is more than a historical account. It is a journey into the heart of divine conflict, human faith, and the triumph of God's power over the forces of chaos. Nephilim, the true story of Goliath and his brothers. Few biblical accounts captivate the imagination like the story of David and Goliath. The shepherd boy defeating the giant with a single stone has become a universal symbol of courage and divine intervention. Yet, behind the curtain of this well-known tale lies a mysterious lineage of giants connected to the Nephilim, beings whose origins and purpose remain one of the Bible's greatest enigmas. By examining the broader narrative of Goliath, his brothers, and their connection to the Nephilim, we uncover an intricate tapestry of divine judgment, rebellion, and redemption. The Nephilim. Their mysterious origins. The Nephilim are first introduced in Genesis 6, 1-4. The sons of God saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. These beings, described as giants or fallen ones, are the offspring of the sons of God, interpreted by many as fallen angels and human women. This union, seen as an unnatural breach of divine order, created a hybrid race characterized by their incredible size, strength, and influence. The Nephilim are said to have brought corruption and violence to the earth, contributing to the moral decay that led to the Great Flood. However, the flood, while purging much of this corruption, did not eliminate the Nephilim entirely. The text phrase, "and also afterward," suggests their return or survival in some form. Traces of their presence persist in the post-flood world, most notably in the land of Canaan, where they reappear as giants, both literal and symbolic adversaries of God's chosen people. The Rephaim and Anakim, traces of the Nephilim. The Nephilim's post-flood descendants appear under various names in the Bible, including the Rephaim, Anakim, Emim, and Zamzumim. These groups are often described as giants inhabiting the lands surrounding Canaan. In Numbers 13:33, the spies sent by Moses to scout the promised land return with a fearful report. "We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them." The descendants of Anak, known as the Anakim, are particularly noted for their great height and power. These groups, described collectively as Rephaim, are mentioned repeatedly as formidable adversaries of Israel. Their presence symbolized not only physical threats but also spiritual opposition to God's plan. The giants of Gath, Goliath and his brothers in the Philistine city of Gath. One such remnant of the Nephilim bloodline emerged, Goliath and his 4 brothers. Goliath is described in 1 Samuel 17 as a champion of the Philistines, standing 6 cubits and a span tall, over 9 feet by modern estimates. His armor alone weighed 5,000 shekels of bronze, approximately 125 pounds, and the iron head of his spear weighed 600 shekels, 15 pounds. Goliath was not only massive in stature, but also a fearsome warrior, taunting the Israelite army for 40 days. Goliath was not an isolated figure. Biblical accounts reveal that he had 4 brothers, each a giant like him. These brothers, Lahmi, Ishbi-Benob, Soph, and an unnamed giant with 6 fingers and toes, are described in 2 Samuel 21:15-22 and 1 Chronicles 24:8. Together, they embodied the lingering influence of the Nephilim in the region. David and Goliath, a clash of faith. The encounter between David and Goliath is a defining moment in biblical history. Goliath's challenge to Israel wasn't just a physical battle, it was a spiritual confrontation. The Philistine champion defied the armies of the living God, mocking their faith and attempting to instill fear. For 40 days, his taunts went unanswered until David, a young shepherd boy, stepped forward. Armed only with a sling and 5 smooth stones, David declared his faith in God's power. "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin, But I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. 1 Samuel 17:45. With one stone, David struck Goliath in the forehead, toppling the giant and securing a victory that was as much spiritual as it was physical. David's triumph demonstrated that faith in God could overcome even the most intimidating foes, a recurring theme in Israel's history. Goliath's brothers, the final battles. The story of Goliath doesn't end with his defeat. His brothers, also mighty warriors, continued to pose a threat to Israel, but they too were eventually overcome. In 2 Samuel 21:15-22, the Bible recounts their defeats. Ishbi-Benob, a giant equipped with a bronze spear and a new sword, he sought to kill David, but was struck down by Abishai, one of David's warriors. Saph, another giant. Saph was slain by Sibbecai the Hushathite in battle. Lahmi, identified as Goliath's brother. Lahmi was defeated by Elhanan, a warrior of David's court. The six-fingered giant, this unnamed giant, described as having 6 fingers on each hand and 6 toes on each foot, was a formidable opponent. He was killed by Jonathan, David's nephew. These victories symbolized the culmination of Israel's struggle against the remnants of the Nephilim. The giants, physical manifestations of rebellion and corruption, were systematically defeated, reinforcing God's promise to deliver his people from their enemies. The spiritual battle, giants as symbols of chaos. The story of Goliath and his brothers carries profound spiritual significance. In the Bible, giants often represent chaos, defiance, and opposition to God's order. Their presence in the land of Canaan was not merely a physical obstacle, but a spiritual challenge to Israel's mission. The defeat of Goliath and his brothers serves as a metaphor for overcoming overwhelming odds through faith. The giant's intimidating size and strength symbolize the trials and adversaries believers face in their spiritual journeys. Just as David and his men relied on God's strength to defeat the giants, believers are called to trust in divine power to conquer their own giants. The Nephilim's legacy in history and myth. The Nephilim's shadow extends beyond biblical accounts. Many ancient cultures preserve legends of giants, beings of immense size and strength who once walked the earth. In Greek mythology, the Titans were a race of powerful giants who fought against the gods. Norse mythology speaks of the Jotnar, adversaries of the Aesir gods. Native American folklore includes tales of massive beings who roamed the land. These parallels suggest a shared human memory of an age when giants, or the idea of them, captured the imagination. Could these stories be echoes of the biblical Nephilim? Some scholars speculate that the memory of giants, whether literal or symbolic, persists in cultural myths as a reminder of humanity's encounters with forces beyond its understanding. Modern interpretations and controversies. The Nephilim and their descendants have sparked endless debate among theologians, historians, and enthusiasts. Were they literal giants, or is their story a symbolic representation of human pride and defiance? Could they have been a distinct human lineage, or were they truly the offspring of angelic beings and humans? Some interpretations suggest that the Nephilim's genetic influence persisted through intermarriage, creating a lineage of mighty men who shaped ancient civilizations. Others view the story as a cautionary tale about the consequences of rebellion against God's natural order. In modern times, the Nephilim have captured popular imagination, appearing in books, movies, and speculative theories. While much remains speculative, the story's enduring appeal reflects humanity's fascination with the unknown. Lessons from the giants. The story of Goliath, his brothers, and the Nephilim is more than a historical or theological curiosity. It carries timeless lessons for faith, courage, and perseverance. The giants, both literal and symbolic, represent the obstacles that stand in the way of God's purposes. Their defeat is a reminder that no enemy, however great, can stand against divine power. David's faith in the face of Goliath serves as an inspiration for believers facing their own battles. His confidence was not in his own ability, but in God's strength. The battle is the Lord's, and he will give all of you into our hands. 1 Samuel 17:47. This truth echoes through the ages, offering hope to those who trust in God's promises. Conclusion: a tale of triumph. The story of Goliath and his brothers is deeply intertwined with the mysterious legacy of the Nephilim. These giants, remnants of an ancient rebellion, symbolized chaos and defiance, but were ultimately defeated through faith and obedience to God. Their story serves as a powerful reminder of the spiritual battle that underpins human history. From the shepherd's sling to the warrior's sword, the defeat of the giants reveals a divine truth. No matter how formidable the foe, God's power is greater. In a world still filled with challenges and giants, this message remains as relevant today as it was in David's time. Faith, courage, and trust in God will always triumph over the giants of fear, doubt, and opposition